everyone, welcome to this lesson. Add a new layer, and on this new layer we are going to start the work. The next step is choosing the color red from the color section and the ink brush as the brush we are going to use. From the brush library, the inking section. We have previously created an archive with Christmas elements, and we are now going to work on them one by one. Look at my hand movements and see what happens. When we draw a shape and hold the pen at the end, the shape straightens up. Repeat this practice a few times. Work on a square shape now. Draw the square and hold the pen at the end. If we double tap on the screen with 2 fingers at once, we can undo our previous actions. Look at my hand movements, please. Draw the shape of the present one more time. We can use the back and forth movement of our hands. Now that we have a closed shape, we can adjust the color and drag and drop it to the shape. Add a new layer by tapping on the plus sign above the Layers section. Double-check to make sure you are using the accurate brush and start drawing a rectangle with me. Before drag and dropping the colors, make sure the shapes you have drawn are closed. Select this part of the work in this way. And from the lower box, choose Freeform. We can now adjust the form as we want, as you can see easily in this way. Keep in mind that if we had selected Uniform, we could have only applied changes to the size, but by selecting Freeform, we can do more. See what happens if we hold the pen on the edges. We can change the angles easily as well. Take your time to adjust the form. Watch my hand movements closely and repeat after me. Use your pen to move the shape around and place it where it needs to be. Add a new layer at the same time with me. Check to make sure we are still using the proper brush, ink pen. And now we are going to add more details to the present box. Use the side toolbar to adjust the size and opacity of the brush you are using, and then follow my hand movements to easily draw the ribbons. Don't be afraid to draw your lines. Work on them, and if you made a mistake, you can undo the last step and work on it again. We can also draw a circle like this and hold the pen at the end till the shape straightens up, and then all we have to do is placing it where it needs to be. The technique we use is up to us. There are many ways. Look at my hand movements as I pinch these layers and merge them down. Now they are all in one layer. Now, select this layer by tapping on it and choosing the option Select. Now only this part is selected. Select the color white from the color section. And now we are going to add more details to the present box. Look closely at my hand movements and repeat after me, please. Another way of working is adding the details on another layer. So undo these steps and add a new layer to the work. As we have selected the work, what we add remains on the selected parts and won't affect the rest of the work. Use the eraser to clear up the edges, and then tap on the Select option again to deactivate it. Keep working with the eraser to form the lines and layers better. As you can see, we have selected a brush and eraser that create a texture as well. Now we have a present box ready, but we do want more of it. In the Layers section, drag the layer to the left and duplicate it. Select the work again and place the second present box where you want it to be. As we have already selected the second box, we can easily apply changes to its size and form. The next step is going through the Adjustments section, Hue, Saturation, and Brightness, and use these scales to apply more changes to the work. Adjusting the hue means working on the nature of the color. Then we will adjust the saturation, working on the lightness and darkness of the layer. Going through the Layers section, we are going to duplicate the layer with the ribbons on it to add it to the second present. Do not forget to adjust the sizes based on the second present. We can add color to this one as well. Going through the adjustments and working on the hue, saturation, and brightness. Another way for adding color to the decorations is selecting its layer and then adding the color we want through the Color section. Select the color yellow, drag and drop it to the parts. You can zoom in to work even more delicately. We can duplicate the first layer with the present on it and add more items to the work. Look at my hand movements and repeat after me, please. In Adjustments, we can go through the color balance and then use the scales to adjust the color. We are going to add a pattern to the work. So add a new layer in this way and then change your brush. Through the brush library, select a texture like the grid texture. Then choose the color white through the Color section and add texture to the work in this way. Or, we can be even more creative and change the color to a pink one through the Color section in this way and add the texture. Let's go for a brighter pink to show the texture better. We deactivate the Select option and use the eraser to add more details to it. Look at my hand movements and try to repeat after me. And easily like this, we can add shading layers and more dimension to the work. We can do this on the rest of the boxes as well. Follow my hand movements as we are going to add a new layer and select the color. Then make the color slightly darker and start adding the color to the surface. Transfer the layer up here in the Layers section. Drag and replace it in the Layers section. When we tap on the End button on the layer, we can adjust the mode and apply changes to it. Select the layer with the blue box on. Add a new layer on top of it, and then we need to select a slightly darker blue tone in this way. And start adding the shading layer on this box as well. Then we deselect it, and in this way, we have added dimension to the work as well. Do not forget to replace the layer on the Layer section as well and adjust the mood. When we are sure about the layers and the details we are going to add on top of them, we can merge the layers and make them one. Work on the arrangement of your layers. Go through them one by one and make sure you are placing them where they need to be. And merge the layers that complete one another. It is now time to start working on the next Christmas element of the work. The next step is selecting the color green. As we are going to work on some leaves, we can select the level of darkness, saturation, and the rest of the details for the color we are going to use right here. Take your time to get familiar with the tools. Experiment with the different brushes to choose the best one. We are going to use the ink pen, and then we are going to draw the leaves simply in this way. Follow my hand movements, please. We are going to draw the leaves simply with these lines. We can even apply small changes on the leaves and draw them with sharper angles. Do not be afraid of drawing. If you do not like a form, you can erase it and work on new samples. Add a new layer as we are going to work on more leaves. We are using the same brush and color we have already selected. Add a new layer and again, work on more leaves on the new layer. We are going to use the same kind of hand movements and angles. Through the Layers section, we are going to drag the layers to the right and group them. Now select the 3 parts of the leaves and place them where they need to be. The next step is placing the leaves on the present boxes. We can move them separately, too. Place the layers with the leaves down under the box layer. To place them under the boxes. On a new layer that we add. We are going to work on a Christmas ball. Choose the color red and start the work. Then select the ball and adjust its shape and form. Make sure you are using the same settings as me. It is time to start adding more details. Select the color yellow from the color section. We need a golden yellow. Zoom in to see better. We simply draw a rectangle with a hook. Follow my hand movements. Draw an interrupted line like this to show it hanging. Work on it delicately. Tap with 2 fingers at once to undo the last step. Select and adjust the form at the same time with me. Select the layer through the Layers section, as we are going to add light to the work. Add a new layer. Select a lighter red color tone from the color section. Select the proper brush from the Luminance brush library. To work on the lights, experiment with the brushes. Go through the layer settings and adjust the light. Look at my hand movements and repeat after me, please. This was one way, but we can also. On a new layer, add a light spot with the normal brush. Make sure you choose a bright color for it. Then, add a new layer under the last layer and add highlights with a pale pink. So, we added the light and also added to the dimensional values of the work with a normal brush. Merge the layer by pinching them together. Select the ornament. Adjust its size and place it where you want it to be. Tick off the layers and add a new layer. As we are going to work on the Christmas tree itself, and it's better to have a clear workspace. Select the proper green color tone. And check to see you're still using the ink brush. Then start drawing a simple tree. Draw the shapes and hold the pen at the end. Duplicate the layer and select the drawing. Flip it and then place it right next to the half you have drawn. Then take your simple brush and fill the gap in between. Then, we need to merge these two layers together. Then, select the work and apply changes to the size and placement of it as a whole. The next step is using the eraser and changing the form of the lower parts. Experiment with the eraser till you reach the perfect shape. Add a new layer to work on the star. Make sure you select the proper yellow color tone from the color section. Draw a simple star and hold the pen at the end. So the shape straightens up, simply adjust the size and placement like this. Then drag and drop the color to the star. Add more details and layers with a slightly darker color tone. That we will select in this way. Select the layer first and start the work with the brush. Look closely at my hand movements and repeat after me, please. This is how we need to add shading layers. And add to the dimensional values of the work. Select resize and replace the star at the same time with me. Through the Layers section, bring back the rest of the layer by picking them on. Now, we have a combination of the symbols for Christmas and now we are going to make a collage with them. Tick off the layers of the leaves for now. They are extra accessories and can be added later. Right now we are working with the main symbols. Go to the layer with the present boxes and start replacing them at the same time with me. Go into the next layer. We are going to replace and resize the next present box. We can also select and resize the tree itself, as we want to fit the boxes in it. Go to each layer with the boxes. Replace and resize them at the same time with me. It is better to bring this layer underneath this one, so the box will be at the back. The next step is selecting and duplicating the layer of the tree. Then select the tree on the new layer and invert it. On the selected area which is around the work, we are going to add the color white in this way. Then, we are going to drag this layer up and bring it on top of the layers. And as you can see, we now have a layer on top of the layers. We will go through the layer setting to change its mood. We have the tree and the presents like this for now. We can tick off the layer with the ornament and the star off. Select the duplicated tree layer on the Layers section and invert it. We have selected the surrounding areas. Now add a new layer up here. Select the color white and add it to the layer. This layer we have just worked on is like a frame for the rest of the work. Even when we tick on the rest of the layer, we still have the white layer. Merge the layers with the present boxes on them, so they're all in one layer. One more time. We go through the layer moods and apply changes to the present boxes inside the tree. Bring back the layer with the star on it by ticking it on. And replace it. Then go through the layer moods and apply changes to the star. Then, we need to bring the layers of the leaves back on. Tack them on one by one, as the colors are close to the one we used for the tree. They are not visible, so we need to change them from adjustments, hue, saturation, and brightness. Select and replace the leaves. They can work as a texture to the work. Go through the leaves layers one by one and change their colors. Then replace them. Look at my hands and repeat after me. Continue going through settings and balance colors, their shadows and vibrancies. Using these leaves as a texture, we are going to fill the different parts of the tree with it. Be creative with the colors. Continue adding more texture to the tree. Keep experimenting with the colors and fill up the tree with this texture. Apply the same kind of changes to the present boxes. Make sure you are on the right layer. We can easily apply these changes through adjustments, hue, saturation, and brightness. Then, add a new layer and select the color red and start drawing a Santa hat. As it covers the star, we go through the layers section and bring the star layer on top. Make sure you are on the right layer and start working on the white edges on the hat. After adding all these details, we are going to add a new layer on top of this white layer and with the color red. We complete the form of the hat. Adjust the form of the hat with the eraser. Look at my hand movements and repeat after me. Now that we have the general form of the hat, we can use the same brush to work on more details for it. We can simply draw the circle or draw and hold the pen at the end to straighten the shape. Add as many details as you like to the work. Go to the star layer and change the mood for it. Then, bring the layer with the ornaments back by ticking it on and as we select it. We can move it around. Then, duplicate the layer and add more details. On the new layer that we add, we select the color green from the tree in this way, and select the syrup brush from the inking library, and we start adding more details. Through the Layers section, add a new layer on top of the first layer on which we have the tree. Select the color and add more details to the work. Make sure you replace the layer to be above the white layer we added before. Form it with the eraser. Then select it so you can place it where it needs to be. To be aligned with the upper parts, zoom in and erase the tip in the same form as the tree. Now we have a collage of different Christmas elements. Now we are going to change the color of one of the ornaments. Go to the proper layer and change the color through adjustments. Add a new layer under the ornament layers. Then select the color white and change the brush to ink it and add more details. I go through it a number of times, so you can see how different these details can be. And this is it for this lesson. Thank you for watching and I hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next tutorials. Bye bye.